Hi Aries, welcome to your April, can you believe it, 2024 Astro Tarot Scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. So remember, these readings are based on the astrology. So if you're only going to watch one of these, I do advise that it is for your ascendant sign because it's going to be that much more accurate for you on the day-to-day level. Remember, I'm using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. And obviously, remember, they're general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. And they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, the first transit that I want to take a look at for you. So, as you can see, the board is a little bit busy. And I also want to say, if you are celebrating your birthday this month, if you are an April born Aries, a happy damn birthday to you. I truly hope you have a wonderful solar return. Remember to fill the day of your birthday with a little bit of everything that you want the whole entire year ahead to have in it for you. All right, so let's pop these out of the way so the outers will stay there. Those can stay there as well. So the first transit that I want to look at for you is on the 1st of the month. Mercury, that little blighter, is going to start his retrograde journey and be doing his backward tracking thing. All right. So this is happening in your sign. It's happening in the sign of Aries. It's going to happen right the way through till like the 20... I think it's like through to the 25th of the month. Now, this is at the very tail end of your sign, right? So it starts at, let's call it, so it starts at like 27 degrees and it will go right back to around 15, 16 degrees, which is actually another conjunction. So at the time that I'm filming this on the 18th of March, Mercury is conjunct the North Node. On the 1st of April, Mercury will be at 27 degrees of Aries, of your sign, and it will retrograde right the way back to and conjunct the North Node again. So whatever was happening for you around that time of the 18th of March, think about that because you're going to be revisiting it again at the end of April. All right, so you'll be wrapping something up at that point. Now, at the very tail end of your sign, Mercury begins its retrograde. Mercury for you rules your 3rd house of Gemini and also your 6th house of Virgo. All right, so what's really important to know here is the 3rd house is about your communications, conversations. It's, the communication that we do on a day-to-day level. It's your local environment. Whereas the 6th house is your work, your daily grind, but it's also your physical health and vitality. This might be a time where you are favouring rest and recuperation over anything else, and this would actually be a very wise use of this time. Remember, whenever a planet goes retrograde, its energies tend to be a lot more inward, they tend to be a lot more subjective, they tend to be a lot more subdued, right? The power of that planet is magnified, but we tend to internalise it that much more. So favouring rest and recuperation, rethinking your day-to-day experience, your habits, your patterns, your routines, all of that could be really good. Now, another way that this could also show up is, remember that Mercury is a microphone, right? So it's about what we say, what we communicate. So there's a chance here that you could be very vocal about something at this moment in time that has been challenging for you for a period of time. This could have something to do with your work. It could be with cousins, neighbours, or siblings, or your local environment. I think personally that you will be rethinking that daily sort of day-to-day experience and maybe really looking for something that's a lot more settled, a lot more relaxed, even though it's in Aries, right? It's like you're fighting for your space and your claim. And to be honest with you, I actually think this is a good thing. It's a good way to use that time and space and to really carve that out for yourself, right? And well, I mean, you're an Aries anyway, so to hell with anybody that tries to kind of tell you otherwise. So for this transit, you've got the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Swords, and the Two of Swords, right? So the first thing that I want to say to you is, if you are not able, if you're one of these people that's not able to sit still for too long, I have a friend that always says to me, like, your problem is that you don't know how to relax. Which, you know, I mean, I'm not mad at him. And maybe, I'm not guaranteeing it, but maybe there is some element of truth, you know, to that. I'm kind of always doing something with or for work. Now, obviously, I'm not an Aries, but these cards are speaking to, right? So the Ace of Cups is you finally taking a moment to rest, to recuperate, to reflect. And then you've got the Nine of Swords. It's like immediately you get into your head and start trying to rush around and do something. Just sit the fuck still for a minute, all right? Yes, you're an Aries. Yes, you're a dynamic sign. Yes, you're a cardinal fire sign. But having, you know, constantly being active, constantly doing something or having to have something to do, it's just not good for you in the end, right? Take time, take this transit. You know, I'm not saying, you know, down tools and don't go to work for the next month. It's not possible for everybody. But what I will say is the time and space that you are able to carve out in order to really sit still and sit with your feelings and acknowledge them, this could be some of the greatest work that you do right now. If you are speaking to a counsellor, you might make more progress in this next month, providing you're willing to do the work, right? I'm just going to tell you straight up, it won't be easy because Mercury is retrograde. So you're going to have to really dig into what you're feeling in order to communicate that. But if you're willing to do the work, it's there and it's possible. There's also some level of personal justice that you feel like needs to be done. And this transit may, because you've got the Two of Swords there, it may go a ways towards assisting or helping you do that in some regard. All right, so that's something to think about. Now, on the 8th of the month, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So again, this is first house stuff for you, right? Your first house is about you, your body, your mind, your outlook, how you navigate through life. That's what the Mercury retrograde, so you're rethinking yourself in some way, right? Mercury retrograde in that first house is also getting you to really think about how you present to the world, how you move through the world, how people see you, what you want them to know about you or not, as the case might be. And then on the 8th, we've got a new moon solar eclipse in your sign, which again is all about you, right? This has your energy all over it. It's going to be dynamic. It's going to be powerful. This is a new moon is a fresh start, but a new moon solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids, right? So this, and interestingly enough, this conjunction of the sun and the moon, which is the new moon, right, happens at 19 degrees of Aries, which is conjunct Chiron. So there's an element of healing and or realization that brings healing to this eclipse. And more importantly, it's a fresh start. It's you going in a direction now that says, remember with an eclipse, it's a change point, right? There's something here where the universe says, okay, you're going in this direction from here on in, right? It's a point at which we have to pivot, that we have to change. Because it's a new moon, it's a fresh start. So this is a fresh new beginning of some kind that will lead to a great or a grand sense of healing in some regard, and will also help you understand what it has cost you to be yourself in any given situation, right? Which is a pretty powerful place to be. Now, this is at the sun, so that 19th degree that I was talking about, it's at the sun's most exalted degree, right? And so really what I personally feel from this is whatever is set into motion will echo for you in a really big way on a personal level and probably on a visceral level, right? I think this is going to be a moment where you maybe come to realize very quickly that some of your larger plans and desires are going to take a lot of time, or maybe you're starting to think about, okay, how do I do this in a different way, right? How do I really shift my approach in some regard? It's also possible that this could have a lot to do with home, family, property, or living situation, especially because it's in your sign, right? But the moon in your chart rules Cancer of the 4th house, and the sun obviously rules Leo, which is your 5th house. While you can't control the outcome, you will get to kind of consciously be along for the ride, right? So this is eclipse is obviously, as I said, it's conjunct Chiron. It's giving a powerful flavor of healing, right? Healing a wound, but also healing some kind of familial issue that you have that maybe you've held on to for a long time. It's like you realize not only is life too short, but more importantly, it's too heavy to hold on to anymore. And so you start going about whatever process you need to eliminate, remove, or release, whatever it is that you've been holding in terms of some sort of baggage. I do wonder alongside this as well, if you're changing your attitude towards life, opens up some kind of other door to a desire that you thought might have been out of reach. So it will be really interesting to see how this shifts for you in some regard. For this, you've got the High Priestess. So what you do on a day-to-day level, and also the structures and routines of your world, potentially your marriage if you have one. You've got this with the Hermit card, so the Hierophant, the Hermit card, and the Knight of Cups. I love this for new job offers. I really love this for that. I really like this for partners, or maybe even collaborators, or even bosses coming to you to say, look, are you interested in this, or would you be able to move in this direction if it was presented to you? The other thing with the Hermit card, this could be you deciding to go something alone, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're splitting up with your partner or anything like that, but this could be where you say to yourself, okay, you know what? Usually I would need to be attached to this institution or this person or this, whatever the case might be. I don't need that right now. What I need is me, myself, and I, so that I can get the clarity that I need in order to really move forward. Yeah, I like this. And I will say the Hermit card coupled with the Knight of Cups, that is an older person in your life, potentially a mentor, coach, guru, boss. Because it's the Hierophant, I wouldn't be surprised if this person was very spiritual in some way. The feeling that I get from this is there's going to be an older person that comes to you to either offer assistance or potentially give you, it might even just be a gift, right? It's all possible. On the 18th of June, Jupiter and Uranus have been in the sign of Taurus now, together at least, for, the better part of a year. And come April, they are going to finally get it on, right? Let's get it on. They're finally coming into an actual conjunction, right? So this is a big moment that we in the astrological community have been talking about for quite some time, because it's a once in 14-year transit. And this one in particular, because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, will never happen again in any of our lifetimes. Unless you're literally just being born when this transit takes place. Maybe you'll get a second one, but it's doubtful, right? So this is a once in a lifetime shot. Because this conjunction itself is a 1 in 14 event and it's in Taurus, you need to find a way to lean into this, right? And especially because this conjunction for you is happening in your second house of money, finances, and resources, but also your self-worth, your self-esteem, how you truly see, value, and rate and respect yourself is all found in your second house. So what I will say to you is, remember at this time, unless you were born with a Mercury retrograde, this is probably not the best time to start something brand new. However, you can petition the fuck out of these planets, right? I'm talking daily devotions to both Jupiter and Uranus. This is, you're happening in my second house. Jupiter, Lord of growth, abundance, blessings, levity, the law, philosophy, wisdom, all of that. Uranus, the great change maker. Come forward and break the chains and the shackles of my financial difficulties, right? It doesn't have to be big and elaborate and you prostrating yourself on the floor and going into a trance. It doesn't have to be all of that. But if you can find 2 minutes a day to speak to both of these planets, in fact, I'm going to say from the 1st of April, right the way through and up to and including, because this comes exact on the 18th, but I would say right up to and including the 25th, right? If you can speak to those planets and do it in earnest, don't play with it. Don't sort of, oh yeah, that's on the list, on the to-do list, I'm done with it now, next. Really take a moment, even if it's just 2 minutes, to speak to those energies and say to them, this conjunction is a big deal. Show me, give me a message, give me a sign, bring somebody to me that will give me the next steps that I can take in my material or financial journey. Give me the next steps that I can take in order to reach that newfound sense of self-worth or self-esteem, right? Petition these planets in any way that feels right to you, but make sure you do it. So maybe use this for setting intentions or do research. And then when it's all direct, right, when everything, well, should I say when Mercury's direct from the 25th onwards, at that point, go at it hard. That's where you take the actual literal actions in the real world. Give room for the magic, for the universe to show you what it's doing, right? So Jupiter for you rules Sagittarius, and it also rules Pisces. So it rules your 9th house and your 12th house. There is a decidedly spiritual energy in this combination for you. These are very spiritual places. Uranus for you rules, because Uranus rules Aquarius, which for you is occupied by Aquarius. So together in your 2nd house of money, it could be a windfall of epic proportions. That's one possibility. It could also be a great time to play the lottery. In fact, you know, for the week before, the day of, and the week after, I would absolutely be playing the lottery, right? Or doing something that's not going to break the bank, so that if you win, it's incredible. And if you lose or you don't get anything from that specifically, it's okay, right? It's not such a big deal. Also a great time to place an online bet. Don't put your house, your wife, your car and your keys and God knows what else on the roulette table. Use your brain, right? Use your sensibility, use your smarts. Another thing is, like, plan a trip at this time. Be alert to all of the little surprises that show up around this time. And the reason I say this is, remember, an oak tree comes from an acorn, right? And you've seen how big an oak tree can grow. These planets are both largely concerned with the future, with what comes next. Jupiter wants coherence between the future and the present, and it's wise to consider how your self-worth and esteem impact your finances at this time. For this, you've got the Queen of Cups, that nurturing, self-nurturing with the Lord and Lady. So this is the Lover's card. So self-love, and then the Wheel of Fortune, which is literally Jupiter. So there is going to be a shift in your finances, potentially through a partnership or a collaboration of some sort. The Queen of Cups, a water sign woman, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, could have a lot to do with this. It may also be that a mother figure, or an important feminine energy in your life could play a very supportive role in getting you to see or decide or choose something different for yourself that ultimately leads to big blessings in some way. Love it. I really can't add any more to that. Okay, and then finally on the 28th of the month, Mars is going to conjunct Neptune. So Mars is going to conjunct Neptune, and it's going to square Luna in the sign of Sagittarius, right? Now, lunar transits are very quick, but the reason this one really spoke to me is because it's like there's it could be a really powerful dream or vision or realization that bubbles up from your consciousness, and that could, like that with the moon as well, could anchor this in a very real way in some regard. Mars Neptune, and because Mars is you, right, this is important. Mars Neptune is the spiritual warrior who is willing to die for their beliefs, right? It's the spiritual warrior. Actually, Mars Neptune can also be a shark attack as well, so touch wood, I hope we're wrong on that one. In a square to the moon though, your vision could be hampered by some sort of red tape. But in a trine to Venus, where is Venus going to be? Where are you, Venus? Here she is. But in a trine to actually Venus will be in Aries at this time, sorry. In a trine to Venus, there's some sort of material comfort or recompense that comes out of it. It could be from a partner or a connection that goes to bat for you in some way, and in a way that you really don't expect. And it may also have something to do with a home, property or living situation. So there could be a development on that front that you kind of don't sort of expect in some way. So there's that too. And for this, you've got the High Priestess. So something hidden will be revealed. You've got this with the Seven of Wands. This is a secret battle that comes to light. And you've got this with the Sun card. And it ultimately brings not only healing and blessings, but it ultimately brings something to light in a way that sees you being able to really gain some kind of big advancement. I absolutely love this. I just have a really strong feeling that there's some battle that you've been fighting that you come out on top of. And so I love this. I think this is great. So your new moon solar eclipse, you've already had the Astro Tarot for that, but your human design oracle deck card for it is... Oh. The Gate 34 and power. I mean, look, an eclipse in your sign of epic proportions at the sun's most exalted degree, conjunct Chiron. I mean, this card makes total sense to me. It really is about finding your personal power, but also what makes you unique and what makes you special is really what your personal what fuels your personal power. All right, so this is really about discovering how your difference makes you special. And then that's on the 8th of April. On the 23rd of April, we've got a full moon in the sign of Scorpio. And this for you is in your 8th house of shared finances, but also your deep psychological makeup, your spiritual personal power. You've got the Gate 61 and inner truth. There will be a revelation around this time on the 23rd of April. Under a full moon, things are always revealed. And because it's a full moon in the sign of Scorpio, which is the sign of secrets, there will be a revelation of some sort. And this Gate 61 and inner truth is asking you to trust your intuition, trust your instincts, to trust yourself, because whatever you're getting at this moment, even if you don't want to believe it, your intuition is 100% on point. All right. With that said, again, happy damn birthday to you. If you're celebrating this month, have a great time. I wish you all of the best. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.